All right, this video is gonna be all about what it looks like to live on an acre plus in the Tampa area. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel. We make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to the whole Tampa area. We're also a team of realtors here in the area. We'd love a chance to earn your real estate business. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. Once you reach out to us, we'll set up a Zoom call or a phone call and really just run you through our whole process, what it looks like to work with us as a buyer or a seller, and we'll take care of you. So my story about where I live, my choice to move to the Tampa area, has been a part of this channel from the beginning. I don't really want that to change. So I want to share about my house, my situation, kind of why we chose where we live, some of the quirks about it, those kind of things. So just to start, my house, probably worth about $625,000, 2,400 square feet with a pool on an acre. Now, yeah, we're a little further from the water than we were, but we're still, you know, Home Depot is 5 minutes away. 2 different grocery stores are 5 minutes away. All those kind of things. So things are close to us. We're close to things. We're, 30 minutes, maybe 40 if traffic's bad from the beach. We're about 30 minutes from family now. And we've got a really cool spot that we love. We have little kids. We just had our 3rd kid. She's 6 weeks old today. No, yesterday. She's around 6 weeks old. Once you have your 3rd, I think you start forgetting how old they are, especially when it's weeks. Like, why do we talk about weeks? I know, everybody understands that confusion. But we have a place we don't really need to leave that often with the whole family. We love it out here. We've got these like trails cut in our backyard now. So the back quarter of our property is wooded, and we've got a big chicken coop out here. We've got these cool trails for us and the kids to play on. It's really neat. All right, so I'm gonna sit down at this little picnic table for the kids. So since I started talking about this house, a lot of people wanted this kind of property. There's a lot of places like this. Ours is a little bit different. There are common things with a property like this that our property just doesn't really have. Like, we don't have a septic tank, we don't have well water, but we do have a lot of the other quirks. So that's kind of my house. You get it, it's built in 1986. It needs a new roof. There's plenty of things we want to update. We'll paint the outside and inside eventually. All those kind of things over the years will make it ours, make it unique. This looks like I'm in like the Rainforest Cafe or something back here. I like this. I'm gonna start shooting videos back here until the bugs get really bad. So that's our house. You can see kind of the area it is right there on the map. We are in Newport Richey. We're in an unincorporated area of Newport Richey. We're pretty much on the border of Newport Richey and Odessa. So if you come out here and you drive through cool neighborhoods like Starkey Ranch, that's just a few minutes from us. But we're kind of in a little more rural area near that. Let's get into the criteria of the Tampa Explained series. Let's go to proximity, style, size, and cost. We're gonna start with proximity. So right now, we're about 45 minutes from downtown Tampa. We're also about 45 minutes from Clearwater Beach. That's kind of a central beach. There's beaches to the north of there, there's beaches to the south of there. I use that one not necessarily because I recommend going to that beach, but because it's a good anchor for the beach area. So we're about 45 minutes from both of those. To downtown St. Pete, which we do a lot of business in St. Pete, it's an hour. It's a little harder to get there just because of the way you have to go. And the reason I'm talking about proximity is just how far away from the city center do you have to go to be on an acre? Yeah, there's stuff closer, there's stuff 30 minutes away, there's stuff 40 minutes away, all the way up to, hours away, the further out you get. And when we get to cost, we'll talk about some of the price ranges based on like those concentric circles, how much more expensive it becomes based on how close you get to the city. Also, an hour is kind of the limit. Once you go an hour away, it all feels really different. It all feels like just small towns. It doesn't have the same kind of suburban amenities. Like, we have an Applebee's around the corner. We can walk to a Walgreens from our neighborhood. Not that I'd go to either of those places, but I'm just trying to kind of paint the picture of the vibe, you know what I mean? It's funny that I asked the camera, do you know what I mean? It's just natural for me to like think of all the people that have called us and I'm like just talking to them. But let's get into style. Usually these neighborhoods are semi-custom homes. They're usually very obviously like 70s, 80s, 90s. You can tell as you drive through the neighborhood like, oh, all these houses were built in the 80s. In the 80s, everything was pretty simple. It was almost like a return to mid-century where the roof lines were really simple out here. Everything was built out of concrete. And in the 90s, you started getting these columns in the front. Everybody really liked that. It's kind of quirky. And that kind of went into like the mid-2000s. But often these neighborhoods, like the 7 houses on my cul-de-sac are all pretty different from each other. It's pretty cool like that. And everybody in my cul-de-sac has at least an acre. In this cul-de-sac back here, one family has 5 acres because they kept buying the adjoining properties. And then once you go to like the front of the neighborhood, everybody has half an acre. So not everybody in the whole subdivision, I don't even know if you'd call it a subdivision, has an acre. Some have a little bit more. And then at the front section, there's like 50 houses where everybody has less. Okay, size. When I talk about size, I usually am talking about the size of the town and the size of the houses. I want to talk a little bit more about just kind of like the feeling. Like, does it feel big? Does it feel crowded? It feels accessible. It feels like I'm, 10 minutes from town. I am like 10 minutes from like a big cluster of like Target and Sprouts and Chipotle and those kind of things. Maybe 15 minutes. So it doesn't feel like I'm far out. There's other things that are even closer, but not like that kind of suburban strip that you expect. Everything out here does feel quite a bit slower. Not like retired slow, but just like everything's a little bit, like people drive through the neighborhood slower, everybody waves at everybody. It has a little bit more of a small town vibe, even though Newport Richey is like 150,000 people. I'm in a part of it that feels a little bit smaller. My wife is always telling me that I need to talk more about like the vibe of an area. It's pretty ambiguous. I don't love to do that, but I hope that makes sense. Let's talk about cost. So if you're 30 minutes from Tampa proper, whether that's like the airport or that's downtown, let's make that our anchors. If you're 30 minutes away, so then you'd be in like the Keystone area, maybe the southern part of Lutz, there along like Livingston area, to have a property like this. You're looking at 800 to 1.2 million, and that's gonna go up pretty fast. If you're getting 45 minutes out like we are right here, you can get more in that 600,000 range. As you go over an hour out, you can get this for 450. And everybody in Florida has similar expectations around homes. Most people want a 4-bedroom house with a pool. So if that's what you want, we have a lot of those. I want to talk about some of the common things with a property like this. Number one common thing is that you often have a septic tank. So, I mean, it's your sewage from your house going into this big tank in your yard that processes it, kind of. These are our chickens. We have 13 chickens right now. I adapted this old coop and I'm working on building a new one now. My daughter's gonna sell the eggs. So septic tanks are common, but septic tanks are common in Florida in general. Because of the era when a lot of homes were built, they became very common. There's certain areas where they're kind of incentivizing getting rid of them, like around the Tampa Bay, because the sewage gradually leaks into the ground, leaks into the bay, causes problems. Another thing that's common is well water. So that would be like digging a deep well for the water for your house. Now, if you do that, you've got filter systems, you've got a water softener. Water softeners are also very common. There's also shallow wells for irrigation. So that's what we have. We have a shallow well right here. You can see it right there in the ground. And that just goes into the water table. It's not a deep, like guaranteed water. One thing with well water around here is it's often very rusty, like it has a lot of iron in it. Turn off my pool pump while I'm talking. So when it's rusty, what you get is a lot of stuff like this. It kind of stains things. This can all be cleaned off, pressure washed. Obviously you don't just want to do it all the time. There's also systems that can make it not do this. It's called a ridorust, where it runs your water through this kind of system. Yeah, it's kind of a quirky thing. Very common to have shallow or deep wells around here. One of my favorite things about this kind of space is you can like build stuff. Like this is the kind of the frame out for the new chicken coop. I have to redirect some of the irrigation so it doesn't spray the chickens. Another common thing in all these is that they're often unincorporated. So I'm in unincorporated Pasco County. Let me tell you why that is awesome. My taxes are lower, my utilities are lower. The county doesn't have as many rules as a city or as an HOA. There's also no HOA in this neighborhood. It's also very common when you get into bigger properties like this. One super common thing that people ask about is sinkholes out here. Yeah, sinkholes are more common as you go north of Tampa, Pasco County, but then especially Hernando County, Citrus County. They're more common than in like Hillsborough and Pinellas. They're still not like just everybody has a sinkhole. So in this neighborhood, which I've explained this before, there was a sinkhole. I think it was that house over there. Part of their foundation kind of failed. They filed a sinkhole claim with their insurance. They found out it wasn't actually a sinkhole. It was just that part of the concrete failed. So now everybody in this neighborhood can't be insured for sinkholes because what happened is that the word got around that they had a sinkhole, so everybody filed a claim thinking that they had sinkholes too. They didn't, and insurance didn't like that. My favorite thing about this kind of neighborhood is the space. There's a big lake over behind these houses. You can see some of this from these drone shots. There's tons of trees, tons of birds. Has a very like natural, slower feel out here. You get to know your neighbors a bit more. And the city's still plenty accessible. Let's finish with what are the biggest downsides of living out here. Honestly, it's maintenance. Like, yeah, we don't have to do a ton. We pay somebody to cut the grass, but if you wanted to, you know, those kind of things add up. We pay $150 a month for Victor to cut our grass, and he does a great job. He fixes the sprinklers sometimes if they need it. I'll give him a little tip for that. Overall, he does a great job. The trees are quite a bit of maintenance. Even just after a big storm, clearing all the trees out of the yard, off of the trail, those kind of things. We have trees cut back from our house. So like we don't have like many trees over the house. I'm trying to point here. Like even, oh yeah, a screen over the pool to keep the leaves out. But even if there wasn't a screen, there's not a lot of trees directly over that, but there would still be leaves in there for sure because that's just how it goes. When you get into a property this size too, the maintenance just can kind of snowball. So we have 500 feet of privacy fence. If I needed to replace that fence, that's really expensive. So just kind of those kind of things you just want to take better care of whenever you do have so much of it. But overall, we love being out here, having our own space. Neighbors on this side are about 30 yards away. Neighbors on that side are about 50 yards away from our house. Neighbors in the back, so you can go the whole property from the back of the house to the back fence is about 300 feet. And then there's a cypress pond behind that, so there's no rear neighbors. And then off to the corners, there's a couple neighbors. But it's a lot of space, a lot of privacy, which is what we wanted. Yeah, maybe it would be a little bit nicer to be closer to the city. So when I do have to go into Tampa or into St. Pete, it's not as long of a drive, but we're okay with it as it is. If you would love a property like this, we'd love to hear from you. There's a few houses for sale in my neighborhood, but there's just other neighborhoods like this that are super unique and interesting and beautiful, have really unique properties that have all the features you can have. My daughter's really into this magnolia tree right now. It has huge blooms on it. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. We'd love to be your real estate choice in the Tampa area and help you make the move to a property you really love, for a price you really love, and a timeline you really love. Give us a call. Thanks for coming by.